To be fair, the man is an ass, but he's not a dumbass. He had to know that this was
I light up the club with one stanza. Niggas getting their hands up, chicks come out their pants. What? It's been a minute since I first put it down. Bought you the 2 drunk hits from.
To be honest, I'm a dude. I can get down with the skank factor a little bit.
Down, that's my nigga. We still the same, cause Vik without the 2 drunk click, that's not a game. Look, we on a different page, but it's the same book. It's still in with Vik.
Grey Goose was flowing nonstop. It was like it was on tap. The music was tight, and it was a good
This is
time.
aimless, they can't recognize this game. Niggas are gameless, I'm dynamite. When I rock the mic, it's like I cannot be stopped. Oh, the flow so high.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Vik. Thanks for coming in. Before I get going, quick shots and thanks to those who hung on from the old spot. You know, we've been working with a new website that's going to be ready soon. And until that's ready, we're working out a different format for the video blog. So if you came over from the old website, we took down all those archives and all those old videos. Thanks for coming over. And if you're new, welcome aboard. Feel free to get at me anytime. Vik at BigVikPresents.com. That's Vik with a K. You can always chop it up with me at any time. So, what's been up this week? You know, I always got new projects going on, new songs and different things to stay updated. Look for me on MySpace, Twitter. Look for me on Facebook. Feel free to get at me anytime over there and get the update on what I'm up to. But as far as what's been on my mind this week, my attention, you know, the biggest news this week has to be the president visiting the Bay Area. He came into town for a Democratic fundraiser, basically coming there to talk a little bit about healthcare and push his agenda as well. And what caught my attention first and foremost was the protesters. That's right, protesters. I'm talking about the outrage of what this man has done. He's unraveling the fabric of this nation. That's right. You got people standing outside protesting President Obama because the big buzz was that change isn't happening fast enough. Never mind that most of the people who were standing out there were not people who voted for President Obama to begin with. So here's the big shocker. They're not happy. They're not happy. You know what? Let's be real. These folks, most of them, and they prove this. Most of the folks who were out there were not folks who voted for Obama to begin with. And let's face it, these people haven't been happy since the sun set on Tuesday, November 4th, 2008. Right? And here's the thing that amazes me. Okay, you're upset that change is not happening fast enough, but you didn't vote for change to begin with. So now, why are you going to be upset that the change isn't happening fast enough? I thought you didn't want the change. Okay? Now, he's not moving fast enough. Okay, now let me speak on that for just a minute. First of all, anyone who knows me knows I'm not an Obama apologist, all right? The man does not walk on water. You know, he doesn't shit golden bricks. You know, he's not the second coming of MLK by any means. Now, on one level, you have to respect what the man means to this nation, what he means to the history of this nation and the history of the world in terms of what he's been able to accomplish. And that's a whole nother story. We can get into that and talk about that for days on end. That's not what we're talking about right here. We're talking about the President of the United States and the job that he's doing up to this point. First of all, in order to be the president, you have to be a good politician, all right? You have to be a good politician to even become the president of the United States. Now, does being a good politician mean that you're a good president? Not necessarily. Ask W about that one. But the reality is, Mr. Obama is first and foremost a politician. That's how he got into office. Now, I don't think any sane person would argue that there weren't some issues with experience. You know, with someone who may have had a lack of experience coming into a job of this magnitude. And I think we've seen that in some of the missteps and the stumbling here and there. Here and there we've seen some things that are serious evidence of inexperience. But overall, what I'm trying to get at is that it's just simply too early to tell when we start talking about what kind of job he's doing. And Are people satisfied? The reality is, with really any president, but probably particularly with this one, his impact is not really going to be felt. We're not going to know how good or bad of a job he did until quite probably his last year in office, or maybe a couple of years after he's gone, will his story really be told. So CNN can come up with all the 100 days of Obama, and the checklist and checking in and seeing how he's doing thus far, fine. You can do all of that, but the reality is his story's not going to be told for quite some time. Now, the other thing is this whole idea about change not happening fast enough. Listen, anybody who's arguing about that does not understand this government, does not understand the way things work in this country. You cannot just push change through this government by flipping the switch, signing documents, things like that. We have checks and balances that keep us from becoming some type of dictatorship. Yes, that's part of the bureaucracy. That's part of the negativity that has been in Washington for so long. And, a lot of us are tired of it. But in many cases, there are reasons for some of these stopgaps and again, some of these things that are checks and balances to keep one person from just rolling over other folks' opinions. There is some advantage to looking at a couple of sides of things and weighing things on different levels. And yes, it may slow some things down. In some cases, it slows things down to an unacceptable level. But I don't think that's what we're seeing here. I think what we're seeing is a president who's jumping through the hoops, the same hoops that any previous presidents have had to jump through. In fact, if you feel like me, and I know a lot of you do, the man has had to jump through more hoops than the typical president, than any previous president before him. So that notwithstanding, I would say it's just simply too early to tell. So let's stop all the nonsense about change is not happening fast enough. That's a bunch of BS. And now I'm going to switch gears a little bit. Seems like this week's going to be all about politics. I don't know. You can thank your boy Rush Limbaugh for that. That's right. Your boy Rush Limbaugh got shut down trying to put in a bid to become an owner in the NFL. The St. Louis Rams, to be exact. This whole situation is just wrong on so many levels, and it's so big I can't even take a bite out of it. And look at this grill. You see these teeth? I can take a bite out of something. But this right here, look, I got 2 points to make here. First, props to the young black NFL players who are publicly taking a stand and making statements against this whole thing. Let me be clear. You do not have to be broke and picking cotton in the field to be a slave. And what I like is that a lot of these young men get that. They understand that. They've come out publicly and said, I will not play for this man. Now, let's be for real. We know that some of these cats are just talking. Okay, throw about $3 or $4 million at them, and it's gonna be, where's I'm supposed to sign? Where's I'm supposed to sign? But I'm sure a lot of them will stick to their guns too, and I like to see that because it lets me know that these athletes are waking up. It's not all about the money like sometimes it seems like it is. These cats do have heads on their shoulders, and they understand what's going on here. This is a man who does not need to be an owner in a league that is over 70% black in terms of the players. Those are the folks, those are the cats that are driving this league. And Rush Limbaugh, he's known for making divisive statements. Remember, this is the man who said slavery had its merits. He said Donovan McNabb, he accused the media of showing him favoritism just because he's a black quarterback. Accused Colin Powell of supporting Obama only because he's black, not about any issues or anything like that. This is a man who has a history of divisive statements towards blacks, towards other minorities, towards homosexuals, basically towards anything that's not old and white.